This week, Instagram has announced its competitor to the app CapCut. It's called EDITS. I have already tested it out on my iPhone. I gotta say, first impressions is really damn good. I gotta say, I really like it. In this video, I'm gonna walk you through it. And in case you want to edit your videos on your smartphone fast and easy, then this might be a very good free alternative to CapCut. So let's check it out. All right, everybody. So this is what the app looks like. And you have a couple of different options at the bottom. You can just write down some notes, which I think is pretty cool option. So in case you just have an idea, you can have everything in this app. And something that is pretty cool, that you can not only, use this app to edit your videos, but you can also film the videos directly inside here. So you can just go down here. You can see you can start shooting right away, which is something that is pretty cool, because then you can just put in all of your content, your ideas and your edits and also your shootings directly into one app. So I gotta say, I do really like this. Next to the stickies, you also have your saved videos. So in case you have saved some videos in the past on Instagram, you have them right here. And something that I think is pretty cool, that this is automatically connected to your Instagram account. So this is not something that I did in the app right here. This is something that I did over the last years in Instagram. So I have everything right here. So this is pretty cool. And you could also have some collections, but I don't have them right now. One other thing that I think is very cool, also compared to CapCut, and that is that you have, a feed that is called inspiration. And there you basically just can find a couple of viral ideas or a couple of videos that are performing really well at the moment. You can just scroll through them. You cannot really search for something, which is something, I would like that if you could just search for trending videos around tennis or trending videos around watches or filmmaking or whatever. That would be cool, but you can just, go through this like this. But in case you find something where you like the audio, you can just go to, use audio, and then you can go to camera, and then you will have the same audio track that you have just heard in the inspiration feed directly in your videos as well, which again, I think is something that is really cool. Next to that, this is where you have your projects. When you're editing your videos, we're gonna, walk through this in just a couple of minutes. Next to that, you have again the recording area. You can change the resolution. Again, it's very simple, very easy. You can swap the cameras around. You also have access to all of the cameras. You can also change between SDR and HDR, which is something that I really like. You can also time your videos in case you want to have a video that is exactly 5 seconds long, 10 seconds long, whatever. You can add music. You can just access the whole, library of, say, music tracks that you also have within Instagram, which is something that I really like. And then what is that? Yeah, there you can cut out the background and you can change the background right away. So I don't know, in case I want to have my Whoop score behind me and say hey, I have a really nice recovery score today, I could just do that. So yeah, overall, pretty simple to navigate, pretty simple to use. And I just don't know how I can go back from this view, but yeah, I will figure that out later. And then you also have an insights. So I mentioned before that you connect your Instagram account more or less automatically, and then you can see okay, how many reels did you post, how many views did you get, how many interactions and stuff. So you have all of that right here. But now I would say let's actually go into the editor itself and let's check out how this is working. So you can start a new project by tapping on this plus icon right here, and then you can just use a video clip. I'm just going to use that one. You can add that to the timeline, and this is what it looks like. So in this case, at the bottom, you can see it is very similar to CapCut. Is also very similar to more or less all of the other, editors that you have on a smartphone, because you just have, limited screen real estate. So it needs to be a little bit smaller. So the way and how this works is, I'm just going to go here and see when is the video starting like this. So I can just select the clip and I can split it up, delete the beginning, and yeah, now I have the video. So you have basically two different options here at the bottom. If you have not selected your video clip itself, then you have audio, where you can just add whatever music track that you want to have. Then you could add text. So you could just add an introduction or a title of your video or whatever. You could add that really easy. Voice, you could also add a voiceover afterwards. So in case you're just stitching together a couple of clips and you want to just comment on, this is a day in the life of a CEO, whatever. You could do that. You could also automatically let captions be created. Just click on captions. It's transcribing everything in the background. As you can see, it's you know, that took like 3 seconds or so, and the video is, how long is it? Yeah, 33 seconds long. In case you want to edit the captions, you can do this just by tapping on edit. You could also pick a style. You have, you know, a couple different styles available. It's not that you have like, you know, a million different options like you have with some of the more modern AI tools, but considering this is all done on your smartphone and considering this is all free, I think this is pretty cool. So you can just select that. You can also change between a couple of different fonts. So maybe something like this. Let's go over here. We can also change the color, and going over here, you have a couple of different options. So you can make sure that everything is easily readable, and you can also change like the orientation and stuff. So generally speaking, very easy to use, very simple and straightforward. More than enough, especially, you know, if you're on the go and you need to be fast when you're editing. I do really like that, to be honest. Next to that, you have overlay. This is basically how you can just add, you know, just a B-roll clip, for example, and you can just, you know, change the scale and stuff. So I think this is something that is pretty cool, especially also compared to CapCut, because this is similar to what you have in Premiere Pro, for example, on a computer, or in Final Cut, because most editors are like, you know, are basically based on layers. So everything that is on top is what you can actually see. And this is exactly also how you have it in the Edits app. And in CapCut, it's, you know, the one that's below you can see. So that does not make too much sense for me. But yeah, that's basically it. That's how you can add B-roll clips. You could also add, no, you cannot add an animation to that. So maybe that's something that they will probably add in the future. So in CapCut, if, you know, you add a B-roll clip, you can add an animation here. As far as I see, you cannot do that with the Edits app yet. Next to that, you can also add sound effects. So in case you want a whoosh sound effect or whatever, you have a bunch of different, you know, presets. You can also go here to transitions. It's gonna play here. You have a whoosh. So the basics are here. Yeah, you can fade the audio clip, which is something that is really cool. So you can just fade it in and also fade it out. You can delete it, and yeah, I don't know what slip is, but yeah, that's fine. Then we can also go to cutout and sticker, and I will show you the cutout feature later. But sticker is basically, you know, you can add some GIFs. So I don't know, let's say I want an arrow, for example. So if I want to point out something and say like, yeah, this is the awesome recovery score, whatever, then I can just add that right here. And now if we're playing that back, then you can see, yeah, you have this right here. So it's not the most professional thing, and you probably would not use something like this for a corporate video, but for a social media short form video, for an Instagram reel, for a TikTok video, YouTube shorts. I think the most important thing is that you grab people's attention and that you draw them in. And I think this is doing that, you know, pretty well. So let's see what else we have. That is basically it. I mentioned that I'm going to show you the cutout feature. So let's click on cutout, and let's click on this in this video right here. This is actually pretty funny. I tested that before. So what it's doing now, it's analyzing this clip right here, and you can actually track the object. So this was me trying to play golf, and this is actually doing an amazingly good job for a free tool. So you can see it's just tracking myself, and yeah, it's now deleting all, yeah, I missed that shot. So, but it's deleting all of the rest, and I can just use that, and I can, you know, insert that clip into any other clip. So in case you want to make some funny videos, I think you can do that. And yeah, it's actually doing a pretty good job considering how difficult this would be to do that yourself. I gotta say, this is actually something that is pretty cool. Yeah, these are the basic features. And now let's select the clip right here, and let's see what else we can do here. We can change the speed. This is also something that I do prefer in CapCut, to be honest, because you can like really dial in the speed ramps, you can dial in the curves, and here you can just change the overall speed. So I hope that they will add this in the future when it comes to adjusting. So just a basic color correction. Basically, this is pretty nice and pretty straightforward. So yeah, this is more than enough, more than you need. You can also add some filters. You can go to filters, and you can just go to, I don't know, toasty. And yeah, you can also change the intensity, which is something that I really like, because I can just, you know, add a little bit of that tone and not, you know, completely overdo it. So that's pretty nice. Then the green screen effect is, yeah, what we had before, in case I wanted to just, you know, comment on something. A very common thing on social media. I'm sure you've seen that before. And then when it comes to effects, there we actually have the animations, basically the transitions. So I mentioned before that this was not possible to do, but it might actually be possible to do that. Let's see. No, I don't have the option right here. Not sure why. Here I could add it. So yeah, not too sure why this is, but Again, keep in mind that this is like the version 1 of this app, and they just released this like 2-3 days ago. So I'm pretty sure this is going to become a lot better in the future. Then we can also add some voice effects. So in case I want to, you know, just sound like an alien, yeah, you could do that as well. Could also extract the audio, so we could just edit a lot easier, yeah, and we could also duplicate that. So generally speaking, I gotta say it's a very easy to use editor, and for especially short form videos, which this is meant to be used, I think this is more than you're ever gonna need. Make sure you give it a shot. As mentioned before, this is a free option, and you also don't have any kind of watermark in the video. So, you know, with CapCut, it is an amazing app, but to really get like the full use out of it, you do need to purchase the paid version. This is a free version, so you can just go here to go to 4K, export it in SDI. Just click on export, and yeah, you know, the iPhones are super dang fast. I'm not sure, to be honest, if this is also working on Android phones. Let me know, comment down below. And by the way, in case you have not subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you do so. Apparently over 95% of all of you guys watching these videos are not subscribed, so make sure you do so. And yeah, in case you're looking for an editor, make sure you give this a shot. I did really like it. I did enjoy it. So yeah, huge recommendations from my side. Give it a shot. Make sure you comment also down below how you're liking it also compared to CapCut. Very much looking forward to see your comments again. Make sure you hit that subscribe button in case you would like to learn how you can shoot great videos with your smartphone. Check out smartphonefilmmakingpro.com. Thanks for watching, and in case you have not seen the video where I'm sharing 3 tips to get started as a content creator, then watch this video over there.